But before I forget, I saw a Cybertruck on the way here.
Did you really?
In the wild.
We saw one in Vegas, too.
I know, but I was like, we were laughing so hard because all this great stuff in Vegas, the food, the women, all these good looking people, all this architecture. We saw a Cybertruck. We turned into 5-year-olds. It was so funny when we saw one in Vegas in the wild, but I saw one here today. I'm in Lake Road when I was leaving.
Welcome to the Contractor Podcast. I'm Nick Holmes.
And I am Regan Weiss. It's official. It's official. We're named.
It's official enough.
And until something else comes along down the road, maybe.
You know what? I think this is a special enough podcast. We don't need to stick the titles.
Right. We said this before. We could put a poop emoji con and it will still be successful.
Somebody will still watch it.
Because it's the content that we're putting out there, folks. So anyway, what are we talking about today, buddy?
Well, we got a lot of stuff that's happened in the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
We can definitely catch everybody up on our builds, but we just got back from the International Builder Show in Vegas, and we really haven't posted a whole lot of that content yet.
No, but a wonderful highlight film, and I thought that came out fantastic from Ape Shot. And it was cool to see that, like everything, even with the phone and zooming in on the phone, and then the trip and getting out, and then you, of course, calling me out and saying I'm late all the time. That was like a really cool part.
Have we published that?
Oh wait, is that not the published one?
No.
I saw that. Great. You'll see that soon.
Yeah, that one's coming out soon. That's our longer one that should be on YouTube. But
yeah, it's gonna be cool.
I think we did post like a hype reel for it though, right?
The hype reel is legit, it really is. And then with the music that went to it, everyone's like, "Wow, it looked like a really, really cool time. It was a fun time." And then on top of that, what we recorded with the whole time, I thought that was pretty awesome.
That was kind of wasn't a last minute decision, but it was one of those
last minute purchase for sure.
Last minute purchase, yeah. It was. We didn't have the ability to get our media pass ahead of time for the event. So I was worried that depending on how strict they were going to be on the floor, what we were actually going to be able to get in and out of the actual showroom with. But turned out not to be a problem. Nobody said anything about anything.
I think, like I said, it would have to be very abusive. Like you're coming in with a light crew, a boom mic, and you're in a nuisance, which we would have probably done. But that camera came out great. I mean, quite frankly, I was telling people the other day in one of my meetings, I'm like, this is what you need to buy. Especially if you're you do a lot more stuff. We do a lot more stuff with our great cameras. But if you're just your local content creator or just for your own business, it's perfect.
Just the speed of deployment on that is something that's crazy. Like it goes from being in a case in your pocket into 15 seconds later you flip it open and you're recording.
Yeah.
You don't have that.
It's the setup.
Get the bag out. Let me get the right lens on. Let me go ahead and make sure that we're all settled in and everything's on. It's quick. So yeah, I mean, Vegas was a lot of fun. We still didn't get to see everything that was out there. We were there for 3 days, 2.5 when you start really thinking about it. But 4 million square foot of show floor.
It was a lot to walk, buddy.
It's just a ton.
It was a lot to take in, but it was really and then you kind of opened my eyes to a couple of things too of why remember I told you, why is someone here selling a plunger? But that's not the case. They're just there looking at everyone else's stuff.
They're going to break down and rip off everyone else that they can, right? So name of the game is, the International Builder Shows, a lot of times, sometimes the first time a product's actually coming to market and trying to market to everyone else. It's a great time for undiscovered and under-marketed products to be basically ripped off and made a generic of.
I enjoyed everything we saw. I really thought the tub thing was really cool to me. I don't know why it still stands out to me, but for that,
I talked about that yesterday with our contractors.
For $400 for these rose gold and black matte black
I wasn't
tubs.
talking about that.
Which one are you talking about?
In the new product section that we went to, the plastic cling wraps that go on top of the tubs.
Yeah. This like the Tyvek thingy. Yeah. That was genius. That was probably
not. We walked into one of our job sites yesterday. At the affordable housing that we're doing, and there's cardboard boxes, and there's trash and shavings and like all kinds of disgusting stuff at the bottom of this tub that we know we got to clean afterward. And when you get sand and you get grit and you get stuff in the bottom of these tubs, you're going to run the risk of scratching it too.
Yep.
So, I mean,
it was like a Tyvek material pretty much, wasn't it? Similar.
It was, basically
silt
like
fence,
a
steel
silt type, that basically taped onto the top of the tub.
Yeah.
And then acted as like a garbage bag when you're ready to be done. You just fold it all up and throw it away.
And like you said, at the same time, we were there, Nick and I were like, branding.
Yeah.
We were like, let's white label this thing and let's grab that. It was like at the same time.
Because, I mean, they did that with House Wrap and Tyvek.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right? So you can put your own company name on it.
I did that in my Horton days. I remember the D.R. Horton wrap coming in. I'm like, wow, so that's going to be there for 4 days. And then you're going to see wrap D.R. Horton for 4 days and that's covered up with siding.
I mean, the next time a storm comes through and they got to repair any type of siding on stuff. Yeah,
it's always exposed again.
Comes back out.
Yep. It comes back out again.
So.
But yeah, there was a lot of cool stuff.
Wouldn't that be a weird Easter egg to go ahead and get a picture of you or me on your actual side of the house? Storm blows through, rips a whole bunch of siding off, and you got Regan.
Yeah. or you can just put some kind of saying like, "Uh-oh, something bad happened," right? And that comes back out. I've been to Vegas a trillion times. That's the first time I took the monorail.
Really?
Yeah, literally the first time I took, and I thought that was cool though. And to be frank, I knew it existed, but I didn't. Like, because you just don't even think about it. But what a convenient way to get through. And then how cool was it to see the Sphere for the first time?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I didn't realize that the inside wasn't as big as the outside.
Yeah, it's a lot smaller.
So when you start looking at it during the day, you can see through a third of it.
Yep. You can see the top. But it is, I guess they said it's like the size of 4 IMAX theaters.
That's crazy.
Inside, which I wish we would have went and saw that aspect of it, but whatever. Next time, Vegas.
Still cool on the outside.
We had a phenomenal meal at Prime.
Yep.
I thought that was fantastic. Where else we go? We went to Mon Ami Gabi, beautiful French restaurant. Where else did we go?
Walked into Hell's Kitchen.
We went to Hell's Kitchen for a hot minute. We're like, we're not feeling this, and then we left.
I mean, for lunch in the middle of the day, paying
$400 for lunch. I was like, we're not paying $400 for lunch today.
It's a ton of walking. If you need to almost condition for like 2 weeks before you go to Vegas.
I told you when I was out there, I was telling when Josh was out there with us as well. I was telling them at that same time, that's when I went out hiking and fell off the canyon and fell off the waterfall. And then my wife made me walk 2 more days later around Vegas. I'm like, I think I'm going to die now in Vegas because of that. But yeah, it's exhausting. But it's so much fun too. Josh went gambling for the first time for Mape Shot. That was amazing. He won some money. There was a little contest there at the end between him and Nick. Josh won. But I don't want Nick to have PTSD from Vegas. Listen, because
gambling's gambling.
He lost some chips.
Lost all the chips over all the time. Lost some, made a lot back. Lost a lot more than I made back. It seems like we're doing that for the whole trip.
See, I have a strategy. As soon as I get one black chip back, I sneak it in the pocket. And then I play with the play money, and then one black chip back, I sneak in the pocket. And that's the play money. But if you're going to go there thinking, like, if you're there and you're like, oh, no, I lost 20, you're not. You're going to have a miserable time. You can't think like that.
No, I don't know. Set a budget. I'm okay with walking away with none of this money coming back.
Yeah, that's the expectation. Yeah.
So
if you need help, call Nick, and he'll show you not what to do in gambling.
It works in all the other casinos.
Works at the other places.
I don't know what else we did.
I do like the outside thing. That was cool. Seeing the smaller houses, the new modular homes. Those were pretty cool with like the living deck features upstairs.
I think we'll incorporate a lot of that into some of the newer stuff that we're doing down here. So we got a project that I can't really talk about a whole lot right now, but a project coming up that's going to be revolving around tiny homes. We'll probably be able to incorporate a lot of those type of designs into what we're actually looking for.
I like to see some of that with the barn doors that we're doing.
The Floral City barn door that we have coming up, very similar style to that.
With the deck, though?
Now with the deck, the big monoslope roof.
Decks aren't nothing new to a second-story home, right? But how they had the flat roofing, and literally it was the entire space. So you had a whole other living space upstairs or outdoor living space upstairs, which I thought was pretty cool. It's almost like reminds me of a Georgia lake house, like literally like a boathouse on the lake where they have that living up top. I thought that was really pretty cool. Yeah. But to see, I think that's the lifestyle that people they want now. And listen,
I mean, if you're only dealing with 600 square foot interior,
right,
you're gonna want some type of outdoor living
space,
right? I think that's a great idea.
Yeah,
to go ahead and have that all set up there. It's just for me. There's always got to be like a give and take on that kind of stuff, right? So if you're gonna have a second floor deck area, how is that gonna hurt the longevity of the roof below it?
Well, are we getting reinforced roof truss? Well, I would assume
you are, but
right?
I'm assuming like you typically have some type of waterproof membrane below, and then you got to build something on top of that, basically, to go ahead and have the deck portion separate. Right. So. To me, it's always trying to just make sure that whatever you do to provide the deck space up top isn't going to damage anything of the roof stuff below and have little pinpoint leaks and stuff like that.
That's true. Because you just can't like put a chair down on rolled TPO or anything.
Right.
Right. So there has to be some kind of other. Yeah, you're right. But even still, you're still drilling through. So it's you're penetrating the membrane.
You've always got some type of risk of additional leak. So we saw a lot of the new. We saw the Samsung refrigerators.
That was really cool.
Yep, that was pretty cool.
Yep.
A lot of the new utility stuff in the doors, and we saw that steamer.
That was neat.
That was a pretty.
The steamer was neat. I don't. Maybe. I don't know. Well, you're a suit guy, way more than I am. So I think it would make sense for you to do that, right?
I would almost rather put one of those in my office than in my house. Right. You know, like if I could have a closet in my office where, I go to a meeting and it gets disgusting. Right. You know, it gets all wrinkled up for me sitting in a chair weird or whatever the case may be able to throw it in there before, the next big meeting.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was cool. But otherwise, like Vegas, it was a good trip. It was another experience. I would like to see us there in a different capacity next year, almost talking about even barn doors. We saw the godfather of barn doors. You want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah, we got a really cool interview that'll be coming out here probably within the next week or so that everyone will be seeing. That when we first got started, there's really only like two main guys on YouTube that were dealing with barn doors in general. Right. And that was Texas Best Construction and RR Buildings. So we got to meet RR Buildings creator and actually go through kind of his whole process and what he stays in his niches and talk to him, pick his brain for a little bit, but got to let him know that he was kind of a result of us actually getting off the ground as well, because people used to bring us his videos and say, hey, this is the style that I'm looking for. Right. Can you figure out how to make this for Florida?
Yeah, and he was pretty cool too. He's just a cool, chill dude,
down to earth guy.
Ready to have conversation. Yeah. And he also threw 64 miles an hour, faster than me. Do you have that video, Josh? Somewhere? Yeah, so they had what was that product? What was that? It was the siding.
LP siding.
Right.
It was basically like a
coating, right?
It was like an engineered plywood with a coating to the exterior.
And then they were they were trying to you guys figured out, maybe Josh will throw a video in there or Jacob, but it's basically a coating that goes over a siding. They were throwing fastballs at it, so all these ego guys were coming there and trying to throw a ball as fast as they could and to see if it would break or not. And a few did break, though.
A few broke, but so their comparison was against Hardy. Yeah. Right? So, I don't know if they even were able to say Hardy. I think we had to say cementitious fiberboard.
We weren't allowed. Yeah.
Yeah. But common brand name being Hardy board for those in the industry. Mm-hmm. And the Hardy board surprisingly was very brittle. I mean, it broke quick. That's something we've always kind of known about Hardy.
Okay. Brittle when you're throwing a hammer at it, but what about your normal longevity, right? Like, so there was, I guess for wind zones, I guess it would say, so for impact, I guess the LP would be better, but then for longevity equivalent, right?
I don't know. I mean, the only thing that I would say I could see the Hardy pulling ahead in would be like fire resistance, right? Because it's concrete.
Yeah.
Whereas, I mean, the LP siding was a wood-based product.
It's a press board. It was a press board.
Yeah. It was basically a thin piece of OSB.
Yeah. Anyway. So that was cool. So we did that.
Very cool.
You know what I liked? The rubber roof. And that dude's coming to Florida.
Yep.
That was pretty cool.
Still on the fence about that one. Yeah.
And so I brought up to a couple of roofers down here,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, "There's no way that meets Florida approval code." And no, he did. He said it met Florida approval code. So why are you on the fence though?
So when we design a house, we specify what we want the truss company to provide the loading to. Right. So we got to say, okay, well, we're doing shingles, or you still have the same difference in shingles, metal, or tile, right? We still have to specify what weight we're going towards and let it be done that way. I mean, tile is still probably heavier than that product,
right?
By far, I would say. Mm-hmm. You know, tile we're normally around like 27 pounds a square foot. Mm-hmm. Whereas shingles were normally around like 7. Mm-hmm. So that's just kind of what we use as standard numbers. I would say that rubberized product, we're probably somewhere closer to like 14 to 16.
Yeah, no, it was significantly heavy. I remember picking it up for sure. But still, they said 50 years on the warranty, and never have to worry about hail again.
How you come up with those numbers though when the product's only been out for a certain time?
Good point.
Right. Like, yeah, we're going to warranty this for 50 years, and 12 years into the product being around, we realized that they all failed at the same time. Like, the company's going out of business, nothing's happening.
They start melting on the Florida hot sun. I mean, if you think about it, remember when rubberized mulch came out? Uh-huh. And remember when they were like, the machines weren't the best, and there were still the metal pieces and the shreds coming out, and the kids would step on it? Rubber mulch was a thing, and now it's not. Yeah. Because it was smelly. Right, it heated up. It was a scorching. So then I think about, okay, well, rubber, and even though if it's coated or whatever, it's going to get hot, and it's going to heat up your roof even faster. Probably, I mean, your energy bills. Well, unless you're coating it white.
Think about a brick house, right? Mm-hmm. So that brick house takes so long to heat up during the day. It heats the brick, and then when the sun goes down, it stays hot.
Yep. For a long time.
So your house is still working twice as hard to go ahead and cool down an entire area.
Good point.
You know, especially with a roof system like that. Like, I feel like you almost have to spray foam that.
But it was crazy. The video they were showing all this drone video. Those weren't cheap houses, buddy, that were using that product. It's probably the owner of the company. He's like, yeah, use my new whatever.
Well,
my Hampton house.
We go ahead and we put this roof on. You use it for advertising. It's a free roof, right?
Oh, I've been a part of those. Yeah. So there was a company, I won't say the company, but a company I worked for years ago that they were looking for that just for marketing aspect purposes. They should, the whole labor, everything free. Dude got a free roof out of it because it was a different shingle roof for the first time. So they wanted, they wanted data and marketing. But
there's a company that was doing that with all the interlock. I don't know if you remember those metal shingle. It's like a metal shingle interlock panel.
Vaguely.
Yeah. Vaguely. Too. The other cool thing that we saw there was the pivot doors.
That was incredible.
Those were awesome.
Those were $50,000 front doors.
So the high end was like 50 to 60, but they were saying they had some down in like the 30 to 25 range, which I know was crazy to talk about a $25,000 front door. But
it's all relative.
Well, exactly. When that's the statement of the home, you know. For that to be on a barn door makes the statement to me, because you know some of the barn doors are kind of lackluster in regards to the front elevation. That's why we spruce them up. But if you have a lackluster barn door, that's how you're sprucing that bad boy up. That's exactly it.
Plus your landscaping. Let's talk about clients. We poured lintel this morning. Talk about that. Where are we at with that house?
Yep. So our Royal Highlands house.
Yes.
We got a Royal Highlands conventional home going up. We poured the lintel on, which means that next week we're setting trusses.
That's crazy.
Yep. So, I mean, we're only maybe 2 weeks into that, 3 weeks into that now.
Yeah. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
We had to wait. Permitting was the longest time. You know, got through the holidays, and here we are. Yeah. It's go time.
So we're moving on that.
Let's talk about Wesley Chapel.
Wesley Chapel house, we put up metal on Monday.
Yep.
We fixed all the plumbing this week.
And why did we fix the plumbing, Nick?
Listen, stuff happens in construction. You know, when you pour a slab, you got little plumbing stub ups everywhere throughout the slab. Mm-hmm. Obviously, dealing with different subcontractors, they have to work around certain elements. Mm-hmm. So, unfortunately, when they were putting up the metal, we had somebody turn one of the bucket trucks a little bit too far one way and ran over a bunch of the plumbing, and we lost pressure.
Now, Are we back charging or are we just taking care of it?
We're just taking care of it, but there's probably going to be a conversation between the plumbing company and the metal building company on that.
Right.
We've crossed over into the thousands of dollars of damage, so
it adds up.
Somebody will cover it somewhere
Quickly.
Yeah. It will not be the homeowner.
Right. That's awesome. And did we notify the homeowner?
We did notify the homeowner. The biggest thing with that is we try to keep our systems pressurized for as long as possible, just to make sure there's no leaks anywhere, and it's good as you go ahead and kind of move things around on slabs that you can verify that there's no leaks or anything like that to come up. So on that particular house, we try to keep it pressurized around 150 to 160 psi. Obviously, when they cracked the main line there,
Bye-bye.
Yeah, we lost pressure everywhere. So and we also ended up with a bunch of water everywhere.
Right.
So. We went ahead and cut the slab out and started fixing some of the actual plumbing, and then repressurized it back up to 155. It's been holding there since.
Yeah. So the reason why I brought it up, because a lot of contractors will never bring this up, or they'll never tell you about it. They'll never even mention it. They'll say, well, why are you bringing up a problem to a homeowner that doesn't really need to be notified? And in our opinion, I think that's completely opposite. If you notify them and you're open from the day one, you're giving no one anywhere to go. And that's the way I look at things. I know that's the way you look at things as well. Always have to be upfront. Always have to be transparent. Shit happens. It's construction.
Well, and to think about that too, like we're in the industry, right? So we see this kind of stuff every day. I could see where like a contractor who doesn't necessarily want to deal with homeowners directly so much could say, hey, don't even worry telling the homeowner about that. It's not going to be a problem in the future.
Right.
It's nothing for them to worry about. But, I mean, it's your home as a homeowner, right? So you're going to worry about stuff and make sure, okay.
And it's a story for them to tell, too. Oh, yeah, the plumbing cracked and all this thing. I mean, it's a story for them to tell. So I'm really excited about that one. We've talked about it a couple times on videos, but very eclectic couple. They're bringing in some of their own things, so I'm really excited to see that. When are we launching metal on that?
So Framer is supposed to be there today. I think he's getting delayed until Monday, though. So we'll have framing going up on our porches probably Monday to Wednesday.
Nice.
That'll do all the bucking for our windows as well. We've decided that we're going to deviate from the county's inspections, and we're actually going to call it a partial framing and force the inspector to come out before we start putting insulation.
And why did we decide to deviate?
Nobody necessarily said that you have to do that from the county, but I would rather on the area that this is in. This is Pasco County, right?
Yeah.
So they're known to be a little bit stricter on certain items.
Thanks, Pasco.
I would rather go ahead and take the extra day, let our inspector come out and see everything that's done and be comfortable with what's there before I start covering things up.
Gotcha.
So, not that we're trying to slow anything down or anything like that, but we really want him to go ahead and say, okay, well, we saw that you guys put the bucking in this way. We saw that you guys flashed it this proper way. Now we start putting insulation up. It's not like he has to go looking for things to go ahead and check them off his chart. He's already seen it beforehand, and it's just an easier way to do it.
Got it.
So, probably the way that the inspection should go anyway. But barn doors are new for everyone.
This is true. So now we have that. We have also the Hilt. Well, I'm meeting with clients next Saturday, or I should say that Daryl is going to be meeting with clients next Saturday at ProSource to be picking out more things as well. So we're looking forward to that. And actually, I just spoke to ProSource yesterday about our other clientele, and they're like, well, where are we in that process? So we'll use Royal Highland again, and let's use Wesley Chapel. So at those two stages, when do we start ordering product? Because we're like, where are we at to where you think? Because now there's different timelines. Ever since COVID, the shipping's changed. So when are we talking about ordering those things for them?
Typically, I would say we need to start ordering those at the time that we have the shell done.
Right.
So once we got a house completely dried in, we've got everything else can kind of move at its own pace internally now. The majority of your inspections in a house are up to that dry-in stage, right? The dry-in stage, and then really the only inspections you have after that are going to be rough utilities, right? So mechanical, electrical, plumbing. You'll probably have another framing and insulation, and then a couple final inspections. There's not a whole lot of inspections past that point.
Right.
Usually, once you get to the drywall stage, there aren't really any inspections until the end.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So,
and then we have different inspections for different counties.
Yes,
so if we're in Pinellas County, I have a screw inspection for drywall. Don't require that in Hernando or Pasco. Right?
Or commercial, they do.
Commercial, yeah.
Commercial. But that's the hard thing about every county is they don't.
No consistency.
No, because they give the building officials too much leeway, in my opinion.
Right.
On how
Should there be a blanket thing for Florida, you think?
There is a minimum.
Right. Right.
So Florida has a blanket, and it's this is what you have to do.
Right.
Unless your building official wants more.
Right.
And then they're allowed to go ahead and specify all that.
Which could also, I guess, be scary because if their minimum is not sufficient enough, then how are we building a quality product? How can we say we're building a quality product if it's not sufficient?
I don't know. I mean, you got tens of thousands of contractors in the state.
Right.
You got how many insurance companies that are involved in creating the building code?
Yep.
Like, I would think the building code should be a pretty good minimum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, like, we shouldn't worry that the building code is not sufficient enough.
Right.
Our building code is adopted from the International Residential Code, which the rest of the world uses.
Right.
And then Florida went ahead and said, "Oh, and do this."
And do this because we're Florida.
Because we're Florida.
Right.
So I don't think we've got a problem on any of that. We got to worry about any of that kind of stuff. But a couple ones that we haven't mentioned yet that are coming up are our VA loans.
Yeah. Oh,
so,
yes.
We finally got our first VA 100% through the process.
That's a big deal.
They've cut the check for the actual deposit. So that one can finally start moving forward. That was not a fun process at all.
But you did it.
But we did it.
Yeah.
And now we've got a second one that is about 30% of the way through that process.
Mm-hmm.
Which is moving much faster now because now everyone's on the same page.
So once again, like I said a long time ago, if people had never saw that video, we're setting the tone for the remainder of contractors moving forward with the VA. 100%.
100%.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
No matter what, that's cool. We might not think about it right now, but that's pretty cool if you really think about it.
The amount of work that really does go into all that, and don't get me wrong, I mean, the VA's out here to protect their clients, right? So their clients being veterans, service members. That process is increasingly difficult because, as structured as the government is, if they don't have a procedure for something, nobody creates a new procedure for it. They just go ahead and try to use the old procedures and say, well, try to adopt it to this and give me something at the end of the day. We'll see what we can do. Right. So we finally made it through all that, though. That one is officially underway. So that one is another Royal Highlands. Awesome property right on a lake.
How many times have we warned people start buying? It's over. It's almost. I mean, it's gonna be over just like that.
Absolutely.
It's almost Royal Highlands is blowing up. We're getting the calls every day for Royal Highlands. It's insane.
I don't want to say you've missed Royal Highlands already.
You missed the cheap ones.
You missed the affordable section of Royal Highlands. Yeah. I mean, you keep on pushing north to Sugar Mill Woods, Cabot, Floral City, those areas in Citrus County.
Right.
You still pick up cheap land.
Right.
Got somebody looking at land right now in Lake City. We were just talking to a person about that this morning. Nice. They got some acreage that's like what 2009, 2010 prices were in Hernando.
Wow. Oh wow. Okay.
So
good to know.
It's all just working its way north. I mean, as construction keeps on marching forward, that's what's going to happen. Yeah. All the land values are just going to increase naturally.
Yeah. All right. What do we got for the rest of the month? We're gonna wrap that up. What do we got going the rest of the month?
Outside of just the regular company, we've got Art in the Park this weekend.
That's awesome.
We got a bunch of nonprofit stuff coming up.
Yep.
But as far as for the company goes, I think once we got another permit coming out of permitting for our affordable housing. So we will start that one. That one's going to be on Melbourne Street, right at the corner of Melbourne and Orlando.
Nice.
And then within the next 2 weeks, we should be closing on our affordable housing on Reddington Street.
That's awesome.
Yep, so we got another one of those done. And then towards the end of this month, we'll have the insulation up, the metal sheeting up, the windows and the doors in on our Wesley Chapel project.
And that's when we want to bring in a couple people because they've been asking.
Yeah.
And I think that's when they just want to see the shell part of it.
Yep.
And once they see the shell, they'll wrap it around. I can't, and then especially when we chalk the lines for the framing, that'll be cool. Bring them in at that point, and then each stage. I almost feel like we're getting so much calls and so much recognition for it. Like I want to do it in like groups of 5 or maybe groups of 10 people at a time because I don't want to bombard those poor people's property with like 100 people at a time.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can't just.
We got to respect the privacy.
Carousel of people coming through all day.
Yeah, but that's the hype generation we've received from it. So which is going to be awesome. And then as for same thing for on our side towards Newport Richey, we got charity stuff coming up. Met with a grant writer today for Hub Life Charities as well.
Awesome.
So we're going to work on that and really try to help unify business even more. And then I want to connect that with you and your foundation up here so we can bring a lot more to Hernando County as well, helping out small businesses. So that's going to be happening. Andy Elliott's thing is the end of this month, so I'm on stage with him, which is pretty cool. I found out the second day there's going to be also a panel, and I'm going to be on the panel. So it's going to be me, Elliot, and Tommy.
I love doing
Mello.
stuff like that.
The
panel stuff is a lot of fun,
and it's cool too because you're getting it from different like Mello, who's built a $200 million garage door company, dude. That's just to pick the brains of other individuals, but then. And then Elliot, of course, is all spitfired energy, and then in those things you kind of see more of the practical person of just asking him a question. So I think we're going to wind up opening it up to the crowd for questioning. So let's get you some get some questions in, everybody. We'll do that. So I have that. That's cool. The first day I'm speaking, I'm actually opening. I feel really bad for the remainder of the show because I'm opening. They got to follow Papa.
Wow.
So that's good. And I go, you sure? I go, because that you got to maintain that the whole entire time. But I will tell you, there's people there though. Yeah, they won't maintain that. But there's people there though that are everyone in the room is shaking their head right now. Love it. But for the remainder though, there's some individuals in there that there's no hype behind it. It's just knowledge, and I kind of like those the most when you just sit there and you're like, okay, and we're still learning. Right, like me and you are still learning. Even in our age gap, I will never say I know it all because I don't, and we're always learning. So to hear from those different business owners, different trades, from like I said, garage door companies, moving companies, contracting companies, AC companies, everyone's got a little bit of a different formula, if you will, but. It's when we grab all those different ones and mesh it into our own, and it helps us become more successful.
I gotta tell you, when I first started doing any type of public speaking, that was the hardest thing for me to get out of. Is just this is what I know, I'm now telling you what I know,
right?
type things.
Right.
You know, to have any type of personality behind what you're saying or any type of stuff that people actually want to listen to.
It's a theater. If you will, it's theater.
It surely is.
It's theater. It's you got to evoke emotion. Otherwise, you're just watching someone. You're like, fuck, and then and they'll never want to hear you again.
Well, and the information might be great information, but it'll never actually connect with the person who's listening because there's no reason to listen to someone who's just going to lecture to you.
Correct.
Like, that's why I did horrible in college.
That's why I didn't listen in school either. You were telling me what to do. Yeah. Mr. Rizek, God bless his soul. He would sit there and lecture in class, and I couldn't. With my ADD, I just could not. And I'd be all over. I'd be fidgeting or doing whatever I'm doing. And Mr. Weiss, you are just not going to be successful in life, sir, because you can't sit still. Because, well, not true, sir. Yeah. But that was the way of teaching and training and coaching back then. And it's not the case. And now, look, there's so many different schools now for kids that are like that specifically have that learning disability. And for me, it's a superpower. ADD is a superpower for me, buddy, because I am omnidirectional, but my creativity, that's where I was creativity. I don't know if I ever told you, they brought my parents in. They're like, Mr. and Mrs. Weiss, we would love your son at a dinner party. we just don't want him in our class. Like that was me, like since elementary school. So anyway, I think that helps me a lot being on that stage. And you honestly, I don't want to say turn to a different person because you have to be authentic, but there is theatrics to it. And your inflection of voice. And
for me, it's 100%. Like, I know this is a personality that I'm presenting. This is not It's not who I traditionally would be in just in
a normal conversation, normal setting.
Like I know when I'm talking in front of a group of people, this is like I gotta be presenter Nick. This isn't you know.
But you know what's funny? There was a period of time where you never talked about that. But you just didn't. Like, oh well, that's still an authentic version of you. It's just a different version of entertainment value.
Well, it's just a different way of getting your point across. Correct. You know, it's a delivery method. You know, that's really what it is.
We did 100 videos with Ape Shot, and if I was to sit there and do all those videos with Ape Shot and give a lecture and say, today we're going to be talking about, we're done. We're done.
You might get the whole ASMR group, though.
Hey there, today we're unwrapping presents. Get a crinkle, crinkle, crinkle. Get some snack, crackle, pop sounds in there. I love you, You're going to mess with this and make something. You're going to make a meme of me with this microphone. Over there. I know it. He's laughing. He's turning red over there, and he's a redhead. You know how hard it's to turn red when you're a redhead? Anyway.
Pretty easy.
Damn it, actually pretty easy. Damn it. That didn't work out for me. I tried. It didn't work out. Okay. Oh, and there's a ton of other trades I want. Like, that's the cool part. Actually, you want to hear something really cool?
Yeah.
So yesterday, I met with 2 college brothers down in Tampa. Dude, he invited his whole staff. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So you have, and he's taking care of his staff because it's $2,000 to be in that room, right? So his whole entire staff's going to be there. He's like, yeah, I want my staff there because I want them to learn, because I don't want them to feel like this is the end for them. I want them to feel like this is the start for them, which I thought was pretty cool. And they don't, like, this isn't their end job. If they want to be business owners, here's the opportunity for them to hear from the people in the business. I thought that was neat.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's done. And that's at the JW Marriott coming up soon, man.
Do you want to bring up the hat on the floor?
The who, Baba?
Your hat on the floor?
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Sure. I will. So, Ace Hardware, Moon Lake, Newport Richie. The owner's name is Austin, local guy. And he's going to be working with Ape Shot, which is pretty cool. But also, today is his grand opening, if you will. Reopening. He's trying to introduce. He just started. But I think it was kind of like a lackluster in the very beginning. But now he's just getting into the community. He's doing like a contractor barbecue. So that's Friday today, and then Saturday tomorrow. He's inviting every contracting company out there, extending discounts to contractors, which I think is really, really cool.
If you guys are seeing this now, it's too late.
Yeah, it's too late. You missed that thing. But it's the Moon Lake Ace. But I thought it was cool, dude, because I'm not dogging Depot and I'm not dogging Lowe's, and I never will. I'd be an idiot. But sometimes it just takes a long time. You're going in there, there's a lot of people. It depends, especially in the morning. Holy cow! And even if you do call aheads, it gets nuts. Well, he told me at Ace, he's like, I'll do local deliveries, no problem. I don't care. Paint, whatever, screws, nuts, bolts, whatever you guys need. But I went in there today, dude. It is the old feel of a hardware store, but modernized. So he had the spices in there. He had sauces in there.
Oh, really?
He had like the pizza ovens, the little canisters that make the s'mores. Like, it's all in, and then your normal nuts and bolts and all that other stuff. Costa glasses, but you're in and out. So like, if you got to run in and grab something really quick, boom, boom, you're in and out. Which I thought that was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
So and contractor pricing, which is great too.
Absolutely.
And he's a pilot.
Really?
Yeah, he's a pilot. So I said, hey, could we do, and Tanner Kilty, by the way, is coming on with us. And I said, could we do the podcast in the plane? So we got an invite.
There you go.
I might throw up the entire time, but
let's do it. Put me to sleep.
Poor Josh on a plane. Josh on a plane with me vomiting and you sleeping. That's the best podcast on the planet. And then Tanner giving us zero gravity.
I don't know what it is, but it's like as soon as I get into a plane, that's all I want to do.
Is it the 700 miles an hour forward? Is that what it is? 500? Is that what it is?
The gentle rocking.
What plane are you on that's rocking?
I don't know. Every plane.
It must be the white noise. Let's just get jet sounds. Let's go to his house at night and just go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Nicholas Holmes, sleep well tonight. Let's just segment that out and put out a recording for his phone ring.
So one other thing I saw that happened this week that I don't know if you were a part of or was with Bill Hoops.
Oh, dude.
What happened with that?
That is nuts. Let's talk about that. But before I forget, I saw a Cybertruck on the way here.
Did you really?
In the wild.
We saw one in Vegas, too.
I know, but I was like, we were laughing so hard because all this great stuff in Vegas, the food, the women, all these good-looking people, all this architecture. We saw a Cybertruck. We turned into 5-year-olds. It was so funny when we saw one in Vegas in the wild, but I saw one here today. I'm in Lake Road when I was leaving Ace. Anyway, the Bill Hoops thing, crazy to me. Capital Taco shuts down. Like, just shuts down. We're done.
There's like 3 locations in Pasco they got rid of.
That's
like
just
overnight,
here,
right?
dude. But it's all over the United States,
really?
Capital Taco. Like, do you know it started in Land O'Lakes?
It did.
It started in Land O'Lakes in 2014. Good call. And I was actually there I thought it was really cool because of all the hype in 2014. I was like, ooh, I got to go. So I went, had a wonderful taco. That place was so small.
I was not a fan.
You weren't a fan. It's good now.
They're using cilantro and stuff on that.
You're not a cilantro fan?
I'm like highly adverse to cilantro for whatever reason. Like genetic disposition.
It tastes like soap to you?
It tastes like socks.
Note to self, Nick has tasted a sock.
I have. Listen,
college must have been fun for you.
I've got 2 other brothers. All right? If you don't think somebody's been pinned down and put a sock in their mouth before,
I could anyway. So, but Hoops is like the only individually owned franchise owner. So he's off on his own. So he's still functioning. He's the only one functioning. And I don't know if I'm supposed to divulge this or not. Sorry, Hoops.
Wait a minute. So his Capital Taco is like
gone.
So he is Capital Taco.
He is Capital Taco for Florida, dude.
Wow.
Yeah. So
congratulations.
Yeah, good job, Hoops,
good,
right?
Yeah.
So I even asked him yesterday, so I went and had lunch with him. And his wife made, so hear me out. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but I'm gonna say it. So, she said it's okay because they have to follow guidelines, right? Mm-hmm. Well, there's no more Capital Tacos. She's like, "Oh, try my special recipe." I go, "What do you mean?" So they can do what they want now. They can divert from the original menu because he is Capital Taco.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lawsuit one day.
That's what he said. I said, dude, they're gonna come after that name.
It's gonna be a lawsuit.
And I was told it's not trademarked.
No,
which is hard for me to believe. I was told it's not trademarked. So, and recipes are proprietary.
All right, so when we leave here, we contact our lawyers.
Capital Tacos, owned by the Contractor. So anyway, long story short, so his wife made this glorious, and I'm not even like a pork guy, but it was like pork and jalapenos, and I really am not a jalapeno guy. But she's like, I pickled them. I'm like, okay. So it's not as spicy and all this other stuff. It was a delightful, delightful taco. I had 2 of them. And then I met with Hoops after. What's funny is while I was eating there, eating my delightful lunch, Hoops was actually talking to another business owner that does food trucks. So there he is, just trying to help someone, just trying to help someone in the industry, give them free information, which was awesome. Then Hoops came over, kind of told me the story, what was going on. So yeah, he is literally the Capital Taco now. Brian Farrow on Pasco News, phenomenal dude. He shared it. It has 30,000 views.
Wow.
So good for Hoops, you know what I mean? And thank you for Brian Farrow for doing that, because you don't want to see a business owner get hurt like that. That's that's devastating. It's all over the news. Capital Taco's gone. That could kill him.
On Monday,
we
met out at There Was a Chapel Project.
Right.
My wife and I were going to go ahead and go to lunch.
Right there, yeah.
We stopped at the one close by.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, the silent door, so it's closed.
Wow.
All the equipment was still inside and all that kind of stuff. So that's really odd. But
you know what they told him? Go get all the paper products. So he pillaged every store.
Really?
And he has all the paper products from the old store. So he's the only one, dude. So that means they're not coming back. If they're freely willing and freely to go get the paper products, because they're just going to spoil and sit there.
He's been doing some cool stuff too that I've been seeing. The lives that he's been doing on the line, when he's actually cooking food.
That is cool.
That is an aspect that I haven't seen from restaurants. But can you imagine? Like, that's where the great conversations like pizza places and stuff like that are, is on the line.
Yeah.
I think everyone should be doing that. If you're in a restaurant, I would be surprised to see the next restaurant that goes ahead and just throws it up as a live on Twitch and starts letting it roll.
And then watch the hits again. Yeah. I mean, Hell's Kitchen took off.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would love to see Bill Hoops yelling at his staff, though, calling him an idiot sandwich. You're an idiot taco. You're a roll burrito, buddy. But yeah, so anyway, so he's rolling with it, and he said he's going to do really well, and he may pick up the Land O'Lakes store, the original, just to make it survive, because it's the original store. So I hope he does. That'd be kind of cool. And he's bringing.
Well, you know what? I mean, that just means that he's got trained, probably fairly quality staff to just choose from now.
Yeah. Dude, there was people on that Pasco News thing like, I don't have my job. Can I go work for you? He could choose the best of the best now. And then I was told this morning by this guy that Bill Hoops' food truck, that's a Capital Taco food truck, is going to be stationed there.
Cool.
So they'll fill that side of the woods too. Kind of neat. So anyway, it's cool to see all these different businesses being successful, adapting, and I'm glad you brought that up to give them a shout out, because that could be detrimental to a company, man. That's that's horrible.
Overnight, not just the fact that he doesn't have the support of the other corporate offices now, which who knows how much support you're really getting as a franchisee. Like that's something I've always kind of been up in the air on anyway. But just to know that people that are going to look for Capital Tacos and then realize that all these Capital Tacos are closed everywhere, and then do they even try going to his store at that point? You know? At what point in time do you realize, like, one's left in this entire area?
All right. We're done. That was the Contractor Podcast. Talked about some things today, things that are coming in the future. We're going to bring on some individuals next week. We're not sure who we're going to bring on yet. How do you want to close this out, sir?
I don't know. I mean, I think we need to go ahead and throw it out there one more time. If you are somebody who wants to be on the podcast, go ahead and make sure you're reaching out to Josh over at josh@apeshot.com.
And we'll talk about
apeshotproductions.com.
ApeShot Pro.
ApeShotPro.com.
We'll get it right one day.
You know what? I'm going to have to probably go buy 4 more domains now and just go ahead and link all of them.
Okay. And we're done. See ya.